in the wake of this scandalous revelations in terms of Cambridge Analytica and Facebook, like, do you not think it's the right time for these companies to be regulated so that the state can be important like contributor in terms of basically curbing what these companies can and cannot do, since they cannot be left unto themselves to regulate their activities?
Well, that's a good question in terms of regulation. First of all, there's also debate and disagreement about to what extent the state can and should regulate data privacy, data collection, and data access issues. So this is an ongoing issue. But you're right, when you hear about lack of regulation, immediately the question comes to mind is why? We regulate many other issues that pertain to consumer law, labor law, health law. Like, we have all sorts of regulations under which we live. Why, companies have been getting away with it, and also the organizations like the state and governmental organizations. I think two reasons for that. One is that it has come really fast. Even 5 years ago, data collection wasn't at this level. 10 years ago, less so. 15 years ago, even less so. So this is something that's happening just incredibly fast. And law always does take its time to catch up with social change and cultural change. There's one element of that. But secondly, I think also the states see that this is the major growth area, economic growth area. No government, no cabinet, no party in power actually would like to be seen to be impeding technological growth and progress. This is also the same logic that guides, for example, we collect very little tax from these new technology companies. We are always shocked when it's reported in the media, but it is amazing how little they're able to pay Apple, Google, and the rest. So there's lack of regulation, not only data privacy, but also how we fail to tax them. And this is the lucrative part for the governments. They don't want to really kill a cash cow, as it were. But I think it's going to collude at one point, and we're going to see serious legislative changes.
Do you think the upcoming general data protection regulation will have any impact on the way data is mined and collected?
It's a difficult question. I wish there was a lawyer here who can argue. And we do have a couple of really well-known copyright specialists, as well as digital data privacy and so on specialists. So I'm on thin ground, as it were. But I can just speculate on its effectiveness. The data protection plan is too much focused on the questions of privacy. That is about data, but not enough metadata. That means still it doesn't cover enough about how companies and organizations, state organizations are collecting data about metadata. So metadata is, for example, when you click your way around on the web and what kinds of sites that you have visited and how it is collected by cookies in your browser, it's not covered, or at least covered in a limited way. But then it turns out, well, we are making sure that actually your identity is not revealed, so that data is not revealed. What you looked when you were at the website is not of concern, and it's protected, but where you visited and what you did and how you moved about is not. I think that's a slippery slope that law is riding on, and it's a wrong one. Metadata also needs to be protected. Surveillance on online has to be really covered. There's not enough coverage, not enough power in law. And then there's the issue of also enforceability. Whether the state has really mechanisms of enforcement of, even in terms of privacy, because companies, as we've seen in Zuckerberg's, the CEO and co-founder of Facebook, testifying before the US Congress, as we've observed, as we witnessed, actually technology people know a lot more about how these things work than politicians or the state authorities. You could see the difference in terms of their knowledge difference. What the companies are able to do, even if they don't collect private data, they're able to data mine in a way that they can connect people to various metadata, and it's very easy to do. So they're not really inhibited by law to be able to do what they can do technologically. This is why it's really a battleground.